Hi, there's Mr. Miller here again, and I have another special guest, Mrs. McDermott, one of our first grade teachers. You know, every time I hear her talk in the room, or all the years I've worked with her, she just goes with the flow. With the flow, what does that exactly mean? Well, it means that little things can happen throughout the day, and we try not to make things a big deal if they don't need to be made a big deal of. That's the point I'm going to make today on this video. And Mrs. McDermott has a way of doing that with her students to help us all learn from it. What are some of the things, Mrs. McDermott, that you actually say to students in your classroom to go with the flow?
Well, one thing I say is this a big deal? And almost always the answer is no. Because what I say to the kids is things that are a big deal are being kind, being honest, doing your best. Most everything else is not that big of a deal. In fact, just this morning, we were having an inside recess, and one of the kids did not get the toy that they wanted. And instead of making a big deal out of it, they just picked something else. Not a big deal. They just went with the flow.
That was perfect example. And see, even in this interview, you're going with the flow.
That's true.
I mean, everything we do is in the flow. And in fact, you know, we're coming back, most of us, other than the virtual students, next week, 5 days a week. And we go with the flow to work with that, don't we, Mrs. McDermott?
Absolutely, we do. We're having to get things organized. And I can tell you from when I was teaching online, my students definitely had to go with the flow. If I forgot to turn on the sound or I mixed something up, even when they were online, they had to go with the flow.
You know, I was thinking of that very thing before we got in this video. Technology, we learn quick that you go with the flow, or it
Yes.
doesn't quite make it work for
Yep,
everybody
sometimes
involved.
you just have to deal with it.
That's right, exactly. And then because you're going with the flow, with yourself first, and then with your students, what usually ends up being the result? How do people feel in your room? How do people feel in the end?
I think more relaxed. I know I feel more relaxed and more comfortable. And I also think that if you know it's not that big of a deal, you're willing to take a chance and take a risk and try new things.
Exactly. I think that's a good way to frame it because the more you don't make it a big deal, the more you'll take little chances each time. Even could get better at something in the end, right?
Absolutely.
I think that's
I've gotten a lot better at technology.
Me and you both, believe me. I'm sure some of you out there can relate to that very thing. The parents out there, you know, we've learned some quick things with the technology to make it better. Well, I want to make sure you're ending with this, the community prompt. How do you go with the flow and not make things a big deal? I can't wait to hear your responses. Please let us know, and we'll be coming with another video next week. Thank you.
You're welcome.